First, I would like to apologize to all the honest, hard-working correctional officers out there for what I'm about to talk about with two officers from New Jersey and one from North Carolina, tainting the image of the honest officers. We must let people know that this is a small fraction, but it's getting out more and more, and we seem to be having a little bit more of it lately, especially in the month of October. I also want to apologize to my military brothers and sisters out there. One of the officers in New Jersey who started a fight club was a former military person who was bragging about military kills and combat that he was never in. Apologies for people like that who taint the image of the real combat military people and veterans. So my apologies up front to all of you for that. We're going to start with that dirtbag officer from New Jersey, Bayside State Prison. He set up a fight club in the kitchen area. He had another officer helping him. One inmate had his left wrist handcuffed to a frame near a meat slicer, and then his right wrist was handcuffed to a door. And he was given what they like to call the fence treatment. Stretched out with the help of another officer, and stretched out, and then an inmate was allowed to beat him badly until the point where he was uncuffed. He just fell to the floor, beaten badly. And these incidents had been going on back here in this food service department. This officer, other inmates are saying, was bragging to them about how many people he has killed, what he did in the military, how tough he was, how great he was. And through cameras that were hidden by DOC investigators up there in New Jersey, it was learned about these games. These abusive games were actually going on in the kitchen. Fight clubs, you know what fight clubs are. You can have two inmates fight each other. There may be gambling on which inmate will win and so forth. Fight clubs that allow an inmate to be restrained in this manner and other inmates beat on them. You know, what kind of sick mind does this guy have? Well, I can tell you right now, this guy was arrested and pled not guilty. I think his bond is $50,000. Don't quote me on that. But I'm going to tell you something. If the cameras were set up in there and he was caught on camera, I'm sure he'll be sentenced. And he deserves a pretty good sentence to set the example for corrupt officers like this. Number one, he must have a sick mind, must be a power-hungry individual. And this other officer that helped him must also be a power-hungry individual, or was scared of that officer and went along with the games. Either way, the second officer is just as guilty as he is for participating and helping. And what he should have done is gone to somebody and reported this joker. You know, when you get these kind of people that work in corrections, they slip through the cracks. They slip through the cracks. They slip through the hiring process. They seem like they're okay. They get through the academy. He's a former military guy, which 99.9% of the time is great to have in corrections. You know, love military people, former military people that come to corrections. But you know, there's always a bad apple in the barrel somewhere, and this is one of them. So this month I'm calling Fight Clubs and Sex with Inmates. October is Fight Club and Sex with Inmates month. It's too much publicity, bad publicity out there for us, folks. We're going two steps forward. We're going one step forward, and then we're falling two steps back with these things. Another incident in New Jersey. A 28-year-old male correctional officer. No, that was the Fight Club officer. He's 28 years old. Okay? But this was a... no, I am correct. I'm getting mixed up with these cases. But 28-year-old male sexually assaulted a female inmate in a correctional facility for women in New Jersey. I guess it's the Edna Mahan Correctional Facility, and apparently they're already under investigation for a lot of alleged incidents going on in that prison, and this just adds fuel to the fire. He was arrested and charged with sexual assault on a female inmate and official misconduct. Okay? So, when we have some place that's already under investigation, it's already being looked at, and then this officer is crooked enough, criminal-minded enough, sexually deviated enough to still go out and assault a female officer. Now, I know a female inmate. I know that you're innocent until proven guilty. I know that. But, let's see what happens. Let's see what the chances are that he really did sexually assault the female inmate. We'll give him the innocent until proven guilty, of course. That's what we do in this country. But it's not looking good for this officer. And he can't be very smart, and he can't control his physical urges, apparently. And he's wearing the shield and representing the uniform and doing this. It's just unbelievable. In North Carolina, at a county jail, a 47-year-old detention deputy was bringing tobacco products and having sex with an inmate on a regular basis. She was arrested and fired. No word yet on what the state attorney is going to do on the criminal charges part. But in the last 5 months, in the North Carolina Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office, 5 staff members have been fired in the last 5 months. And now this female officer, 47 years old, for having sex with an inmate. What is going on, folks? Staff shortage you talk about? Well, yeah, we lose people through retirement. People that just say, the heck with this, I'm not doing this job anymore. But look how many people we lose a month. I'm going to say a month, not just a year, through these criminal investigations I just told you about. This is just 3. 2 in New Jersey, 1 in North Carolina. Hey, they happen here in Florida all the time too, folks. Don't think I'm leaving my state out. We get the articles all the time, officer arrested for bringing something to an inmate, officer arrested for smuggling drugs. It's not what we want, folks. And then still people ignore it. They want to talk about this, they want to talk about that, but they're ignoring something that, if not fixed, will just continue to drag our occupation down. And all those people who are proud of their shield, proud to wear the uniform like I was, I'm proud to say I retired from corrections, Florida State DOC and the Polk County Sheriff's Office. I'm proud to say that I retired from those places. Just like 95% of you officers are. See, I'm dropping it now. I used to say 99.9. The corruption is getting a little bad. I'm going to say we're getting up in the 5-6% mark now on the corruption. That's a lot, though, and that's why all these articles are coming out in the newspaper. Want to keep ignoring it? Want to pretend like it doesn't happen? We'll just keep seeing these things coming out in the newspaper and bury our head in the sand. Or we can make examples of people like these 3, hit them hard, make them felons, teach ethics harder, teach inmate manipulation harder, teach corruption cases, give examples of corruption cases in training and say, this could be you. You want to go to jail. You want to do that. This could be you. Or we could just ignore it and let it continue to fester, and it's getting worse, folks. Worse all the time. All right, folks. October is Sex with Inmates and Fight Club month. Not good. Don't want to see it. Let's don't have these things happen so often. Report corruption. Report crimes by fellow officers or civilian staff. Report it immediately and let's get them the heck out of there before they get us in the newspaper articles here. Yes, I have some newspaper articles here because I'm trying to present this to you the way I read it, okay? And then I'm adding my 2 cents worth. But if you don't want to report crime in your prison or jail, because you think you're a snitch, then you're part of the problem. Honest officers take care of crimes that are committed in front of them. Now, don't just say, I think he is or she is. You have to have some type of evidence, of course, okay? I don't want to lead you down the wrong path. Supervisors don't want you running up to him saying, I think that officer's bringing tobacco to an inmate. Give some details of what you saw, what you see, what you're noticing. And at least let your supervisors make the next move on going to talk to that officer, or laying back and waiting and watching that officer, or reporting it up the chain of command for possible investigation, as they should. Okay? Don't go by what you think. Go by what you see, what you're witnessing. And let the supervisors take it from there and get it off your back. You know why? Because at least you reported it from the front line. You did your job. Now step off. Don't worry about it. Make sure you keep a record of where you reported it, in case you're ever investigated and asked the question, well, if you knew this was going on, did you report it? Yes, I did. I reported it to Sergeant so-and-so, reported it to Lieutenant so-and-so. The monkey's off your back, folks. Let them answer now why they didn't take care of the problem. Let management answer why they did not take care of this corrupt officer. Thank you very much for listening. Gary York, True Prison Stories. Please subscribe.